Seth Grove, state representative from the 196th Legislative District, who we don't always get on our show, but he's on here from time to time. Good morning, Seth. How are you?
Good, Gary. Good morning. How are you?
Well, it's good. Don't you feel good when you get introduced like that? That it has a little importance. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Anyway, no, it's good to have you aboard, my friend. Hey, let's see. Tuesday, a week ago, we had a little vote here in the state of Pennsylvania, and we decided that we were going to put some restrictions on the way a governor in the future would handle, an emergency like COVID. A lot of things happened, obviously, over the last year, and you and I have talked about that from time to time. But the governor then comes out and puts another emergency declaration out, or an extension of the same one, I guess you would say. And I saw your compatriot, Mr. Benninghoff, introduced a resolution to terminate portions of Governor Wolf's emergency disaster declaration. I know you were aboard with that. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, here in Pennsylvania, we're going to go back to normal, Gary. Not new normal. Go live your lives. Vaccine is readily available. Go get it if you want to go get it. But we are done with having a supply chain issues because of unemployment issues. We're done with the draconian mandates. We're done with all of it. So House Resolution 106, prime sponsored by the Majority Leader, Kerry Benninghoff, and all those draconian policies from business closures, stay-at-home orders, the whole nine yards, ends it. And the nice part about that constitutional amendment the people passed is once we vote to get rid of it, he cannot reinstate it. So those will be permanently done for COVID. They're not an option anymore.
Now we just heard. We just heard in our news at the top of the hour, the governor kind of responded by saying, "Well, you don't have it yet. You don't have the whole thing yet in terms of the amendment. It has to be done." And so, it's like a last hurrah, I guess, in terms of putting out some of these emergency declarations. Your thoughts about what the governor had to say?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the vote needs certified yet. That will happen the week of June 7th. So we're not in next week. House and Senate both aren't in next week. So we want to make sure we get this resolution to the Senate. So when they come back into session, they have it available to pass it, and that will end it. It is all over from their point forward. We're just going to allow federal dollars to come in, and then the probably one of the benefits of COVID have been all of these regulatory suspensions, particularly on our medical industry. We want to keep those in place until we have the ability to draft legislation to keep those, because many of those have been really beneficial to citizens moving forward. So besides that, your life is not going to be impacted by COVID-19 anymore. Go live your life. We're saying it right now. Go do what you want to go do. Go have fun. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. We don't care anymore. Go live your lives. This thing is over. House
Resolution 106, which is what we're talking about here this morning, to get inside that a little bit. One of the things it would do, it would end the administration's ability to use the COVID-19 emergency disaster declaration to engage in no-bid, single-source contracting, reestablish work search requirements currently waived by the Department of Labor and Industry, and end the ability of the governor to use his emergency disaster declaration to mandate occupancy limits, business closures, and stay-at-home orders. Obviously, that last one deals with what you just said. But the first two, the single-source contracting and no-bid single-source contracting at that, and then the reestablish work search requirements, talk about those two things a little bit.
Yeah, under emergency declaration, the governor can basically bypass the normal procurement laws of the Commonwealth and just purchase stuff whenever they want, for whatever they want. So it brings back in those procurement process where you have to bid on it. So think about this. Global Insight, the company that they contracted to do contact tracing throughout the Commonwealth, and then we found out that they didn't have proper controls on their data and released, had people's personal information released out into the world, right? That was done through an emergency contract, no bid. It was a sole source contract by the Commonwealth. Had that gone through a normal procurement process, we probably would have had better protections put in there to ensure that didn't happen. Work search requirements. We all know of the dire labor shortage across the United States because of this unemployment compensation issue. We are literally facing some of the greatest economic crises that we've had because people aren't working.
Right.
We are seeing supply chain failures, and it's getting worse. So this puts the work search requirement back on. So you have to go find a job if you're on unemployment, and there's tons. I just saw a sign: Frito-Lay is hiring $17 to $24 an hour starting wages. Harley Davidson starting at $22.40 an hour. So wage scale is so high right now. It's a great time to go get a job. The other thing we need to do with this, Gary, is end the extra $300 payment going into unemployment.
Right.
We like the other 21 states that have done it. We need to end that and get people back to work. We are not in a recession or a depression. Our economy is coming back. It's strong, and we need people out there to help work.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with a hand up during a crisis. I don't think, for people who are out of work, I don't think there's anybody saying here, hey, we just want to let those people to their own devices and so forth. That's not the case because government shut off the spigot. I mean, for all intents and purposes, government, it doesn't matter in whose name, shut off the spigot, good intentions or otherwise. And as you said, the whole supply chain, the whole economic chain was disrupted when we had, for example, wholesalers allowed to stay open who had no retailers because they were closed down to market to. I mean, the whole thing was kind of a mess in that way. But the point being, there comes an end to this, too. And the idea that we're going to continue a mindset that the governor will continue to, or the governor or government will continue to dole out money to us, forever is just totally ridiculous. We need to if we're going to get back to normal, let's get back to normal and just start getting back to work with people who are able to do so, not extend these benefits through all the way through September and beyond.
Right, because every week that goes by, product is not getting produced, and it's not getting to market, and that's a major problem, and it's going to have long-term dire consequences. We have time to turn it around, but we need to start acting now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Your thoughts here about the governor. Now the governor says, hey, they haven't gotten the concurrent thing yet. So, hey, in order to stay qualified for some of the federal disaster relief that we need to get, we need to extend this whole emergency, proclamation. What are your thoughts about that? 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I mean, there are some bills we need to pay with some of the federal dollars coming in for the pandemic. So keeping it open to collect those until those payments are gone, and then it goes away.
Right.
And then just for I love the fact that we're going to keep this open to get government out of people's lives. The fact that we have so many regulatory suspensions that occurred that really show we had too much government in the Commonwealth that really negatively impacted our medical field. Keeping those open until we have a chance to statutorily get rid of them, that's a huge win for Pennsylvania. So we're literally setting this up to have the least impact of government on your lives, which is really exciting. For me, it's phenomenal. I can't wait to do it. And plus, once we vote it, he can't bring it back for COVID-19.
Right.
No matter what happens, he has to come to us and ask us to reinstate those powers.
And
so it's an added protection to make sure we don't go through this again.
Appreciate your time this morning, Seth. Thank you so much for taking it, and we'll look forward to talking again soon, my friend. Take care. Seth Grove, representative from the 196th District, talking about House Resolution 106.